Welcome to Garden Wise Adventures. My name is Malie, and today I wanted to do another plant of the week. This time it's going to be a repeat of one I've done in the past, and that's on hydrangeas. Now, I have some new hydrangeas out that are doing well. I also have some older hydrangeas that have been here for years that I finally figured out why they were doing so poorly, and I've gotten them back to looking great. So I wanted to show you a little bit about my hydrangeas and talk to you about growing hydrangeas in zone 6/7 in Utah. Now, we have cold winters, so we cannot grow hydrangeas that bloom on old wood, because a lot of the time the winter temperatures will freeze back the growth from the previous year, and so they have to start new every year. So if you have hydrangeas that bloom on old growth, they will not bloom because that old growth has been killed back. So we need to stick with hydrangeas that bloom on new wood, that are a little more drought tolerant and a little more sun and heat hardy. Now, I have some behind me that don't normally do very well in Utah, but for those of you who are adventurous and who'd like to try, these are my endless summer hydrangea macrophyllas. Now, hydrangea macrophyllas cannot take really hot weather. They need a lot of water and they need a good deal of shade. So let me show you mine and tell you what I've done to help them thrive. So this is one of two that I have remaining. I took the rest out because I wanted to add other things. But this one, let's go over here to the other side. And this plant were both planted in 2009. They're about 2 feet tall right now. They don't ever get really any taller than that. And for most of the years that I've had them, they flower beautifully the entire year. So, and these bloom on new wood. So as you can see, they're a little bit droopy because tomorrow is my watering day. We've got new growth, we've got new flower buds here. We've got a little bit older one. This is one of the first flower buds. They turn green, and then in the fall, they're going to turn these glorious burgundy colors. So by fall, we'll have new buds, the bright pink buds, the green buds, and then we'll have the burgundy ones. They are absolutely glorious. Now, to get these to survive and thrive, I heavily amended the soil with acidic soil fertilizer when I first planted them. I've kept them mulched really heavily throughout the years, and they did really well that way for about 6 years. I also fertilized them once a year with a good all-purpose fertilizer. And if I want a blue color, I'll add the ammonium sulfate to it, just so that we can get a little bit of a blue color. Here in Utah, because the soil is so alkaline, they don't turn completely blue, they turn a little bit purple. And it's really quite pretty. I'll put a picture up above of the blooms on my other plant a little bit earlier this year, and they still had a little bit of the effects of the ammonium sulfate and had a little bit of blue to them. So they were kind of purple, and it was quite pretty. But besides fertilizing them, I did not do anything for like the first 6 years. And then the plant started to slowly decline and stopped flowering, and I was having a lot of problems with them. The one thing that I noticed is they are starting to tend towards iron chlorosis, and you can see the chlorosis here a little bit. These need to get hit with some more chelated iron. I've been doing it in the fall and in the spring, so it's just about time to hit them with the fall chelated iron. And the other thing that was happening, here in Utah, the springs are starting to have really late freezes. So everything buds up, the leaves start to emerge, and then they get hit with a freeze and get killed back. And that was taking away all of my flowers. Now, these bloom on new wood, but for some reason that was setting them back so much that I didn't even get flowers later in the year. So what I did with these plants is this year when we had our late spring frost, I just covered them with some frost cloth. Let me show you that over here. I never got around to putting this back away, but this is the frost cloth that I covered this one with. So I covered them with the frost cloth and it worked. So now they are back to blooming and beautiful. So Hydrangea macrophylla are not the best plants for Utah. They can be done, but they take a lot of work. Let me show you some more plants that are much better for the state of Utah and for colder climates. So for this area, I definitely wanted hydrangeas, but this is a tough area. It faces west and it gets shade most of the day until about 2 p.m. I don't know if you can see the shade line. It's about 2 p.m. and the shade line is to the zinnias. Very shortly here, this will be in full blazing sun, although it is cloudy today, which is a good day to do videos. But Around 2 p.m. on until late evening, this gets full blazing sun and everything against the house just cooks. So it was hard for me to try to get hydrangeas to survive. I've worked at it for 3 years, and what I finally ended up doing is digging up the soil in this area, putting in a soil that has better water holding capacities, and I mulched it really heavily. And then what I also have started doing is watering these every other day. So now that I've done that, these little Firelight Tidbits, this is Hydrangea paniculata Firelight Tidbit from Proven Winners. They are growing in. They have not fried. This is their first year, so they're tiny, but we're starting to get flowers. Even the one over there on the other side of my little zinnia, these are Macarenia Zinnias. I can't pronounce it. I'll put the name on the screen. But we're getting little flower buds. So I'm really excited. These flower buds start out green, turn white, and then hopefully in the fall, they're going to have a really nice pink color to them. And then over on this side of the house, I have a couple of more hydrangeas. These are in a better suited area. They are in full sun. This is south facing, and they get sun almost the entire day. Like I said, it's cloudy today, so we're not seeing the sun on them, and that's fine. This is another Hydrangea paniculata, little lime punch. And it's going to have a glorious red color in the fall. But as you can see, the new flowers are green. And it's very happy and healthy. I planted this one last year, and I did hit it with the chelated iron in the fall and the spring, and it's doing beautifully. This is a 3-year-old Hydrangea paniculata, and it has struggled a little bit more because it's been a learning curve. This year was the first year I added the chelated iron in its 3 years life, and it struggled before, but with the chelated iron, it is doing a lot better. As you can see, we still have some leaves that are showing some chlorosis, but I think it's going to be okay. And look at the glorious flowers on that. These start out as white instead of green, and they're going to age to a really beautiful pink. So this one's called Vanilla Strawberry. This one is also on the south side. It gets full sun. For the first 2 years, I didn't water it enough, and it really severely burned and did not increase in size very much. But now I'm watering these two right here twice a week. It does get overspray from the lawn, so I think that's why I'm able to get away with twice a week. Supposedly they're a little more drought tolerant, so as they get older and their root systems get more extensive, as long as you mulch them heavily and amend the soil well with water holding compost, once they're established, you may be able to get away with watering them twice a week. Now the other thing I love about these, and I had no idea, and there are not as many out here right now because of the windy day and the storm that's coming in. But the pollinators absolutely love this. I don't know if you can see the little beneficial wasps. They're parasitic wasps that are all over it. And I see regular wasps like this guy right here. And I even have seen honeybees. So they really seem to like these flowers. So that is an added benefit besides their beauty. That is how to grow hydrangeas in the Intermountain West. So definitely watch the water, watch your varieties, amend the soil well, and definitely pay attention to the watering. And chelated iron becomes your best friend with these plants. So they do take a little bit of work to grow in our areas, but I think the rewards and benefits are definitely worth it. So if you've liked my videos, if they've been helpful to you, please like, subscribe, share them with your friends, and go have a wonderful garden adventure.